Hey, Tom here from the Run Testers. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Arc'teryx Norvan SL2 trail shoe. Let's take a look and see what I thought. The Arc'teryx Norvan SL2 comes in at £130 or $160. It weighs in at 162 grams or 5.7 ounces for men in a size 8. The drop is 7mm and the fit for us was true to size. The Norvan SL2 is a trail shoe designed for lightweight running across technical terrain. The SL in the name actually stands for super light, and the shoe is built to be both nimble and fast over the trails. It features a hydrophobic, hard-wearing TPU mesh upper that folds down to allow it to be packed away easily. There's a Vibram Mega Grip outsole that incorporates light-based technology for durability and performance while still keeping the weight down as low as possible. And there's a subtle covering of lugs spread out across the length of the shoe. The shoe doesn't feature a rock plate, but does offer enough midsole material to protect against obstacles found on varied terrain. The fit for me was true to size, but what I would say about this shoe is that it's a very lean shoe. There's not a lot of give in it. There's not a lot of space for your toes, and there's not a lot of sort of width in across the whole of that shoe. So it's a pretty locked down, tight fit. Which is kind of what you want when you're running on the trails and you're doing a lot of technical stuff, because you don't want that shoe moving around. But it's pretty much spot on, true to size, so it's not got a lot of wiggle room in it. So I've done about 50k in this shoe so far, and I've gone from about 8k up to half marathon distance in training runs. And what I would say is when it comes to lightness, this shoe is really impressive. It's an incredibly light shoe, and it almost feels like you haven't got anything on your feet when you're running in it. That's a good thing if your main focus is weight and you want the lightest shoe possible, but it does mean you're taking a little bit of a hit on various other features that you would find in a lot of shoes out there. The first of those, for me, is comfort. It's not a bad shoe when it comes to comfort, but it's not a comfortable shoe. This upper is made from a sort of plastic material, and it's very sort of rigid. It's not a fabric material, which helps with waterproofing, it helps with durability, but it doesn't make it a comfortable shoe. There's pretty much zero sort of padding or cushioning around the whole shoe, especially around the heel and ankle collar here. And that, for me, is quite noticeable. I really struggle with shoes that don't have any sort of padding around the heel collar, and what I found was that over the half marathon distance run that I ran in, it did start to rub quite a bit. There's nothing there to sort of protect your heel when you're running, and I think I got up to about 17k of that half marathon distance, and it was noticeable. And when I got home, I was really pleased to take them off. So if comfort's your main focus for running shoes, these probably aren't going to do the job, because comfort is not in the top end of things that this shoe is designed for. It's just lightness. The other thing I'd say about the shoe is that it feels like a minimal shoe to an extent, just from the lightness of the shoe. But there is actually a fair bit of cushioning that sits in that midsole, which does a pretty good job at protecting the feet against hard things on the ground. And it's a nice feature to have if you don't want to go fully minimal. I'm not a minimal runner. I don't like wearing minimal shoes. And I found that this cushioning in here was enough for me as a sort of mid-level cushioning runner, that it just did the job, and it felt like I was running in normal shoes as opposed to minimal shoes. The Vibram outsole, the lugs aren't massive. I think they're about 3.5mm or something like that. There's enough in there. It's got a pretty good grip on the ground. I've ran in wet conditions and on rock, and it does a really nice job at sort of gripping onto the ground. So I was quite impressed by that for such a minimal shoe. And the other thing as well is the lugs are so small and spaced out that it doesn't pick up a lot of mud, which is a big problem for runners in the UK, because if you're trail running, it tends to mean there's a lot of mud. And one of the biggest problems that I always find with trail shoes is that it just clumps up with loads of mud and it becomes really heavy. And as soon as this shoe, if you had this shoe and it started getting heavy, it defeats the point of having the shoe in the first place, because it's so light. But that outsole does a great job at not collecting mud, which is another good feature about the shoe. The overall lightness really is phenomenal. It just feels like you're completely in control of the movements that your feet are making, because it just feels like you're not wearing anything. You can just it feels so nimble to run in, because you can just bounce around it and you're in complete control of where your feet are going. There's no sort of weight to your foot, there's no clumpiness, there's no additional sort of plastic and rubber sticking out of that shoe to make it harder to run in. So if you want that sort of really lean, minimal shoe that just gives you that nimble feeling, it is very, very good at that, but at the cost of comfort and other features. My verdict for the Arc'teryx Norvan SL2 is that it's got a place for people who want a really light shoe, but they don't want to go for minimal. I think if that was your key focus, maybe if you were mountain racing and you wanted a really light shoe, but still had enough cushioning in it to sort of be protective over those distances without being a minimal shoe, I think it's a good option. If you're looking for a trail shoe for sort of comfortable running in the mountains, or if you're looking for a trail shoe that you can use for all sorts of running, from sort of slower distance, park trails to mountain running, it's a very limited use shoe, I think. You're going to want something that's more protective. You're going to want something that's got a little bit more durability and bulk to it if you're going to use it for lots of different types of running. And I think this is probably going to struggle at various types, unless your main focus is speed, nimbleness, bouncing around, and basically winning races in the mountains. So yeah, great lightweight shoe if that's what you're after, but not a lot of versatility if you're looking for a trail shoe that does other things as well. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click that little bell icon. It really does make a difference, and the more likes and subscribes we get, the more videos we can make, and we really do love doing this. So thanks a lot for watching, and check out the channel for all the other videos we've got, from the latest road and trail shoes to all the latest headphones and running watches that are out at the moment. See you later.